Thank you to Cade Silvermoon for their generous donation on Patreon. Sam sure is invested in the Bible all of a sudden. I guess things did change for him recently. You'd think he'd sucked off enough men to be put off by all the bitching about adultery, but he keeps getting wrapped up in all the metaphysics. I know why he's mad at Todd. Todd believes in a loving, affectionate God. Sam believes in a wrathful God. It's like he wants there to be something real that he can be afraid of. Well, that's what they were trying to scare people into believing so that the people preaching it could have power. That was the point of religion in the first place. That's why I don't like it. Alright, I think that's enough church for me today. Downtown is always so wide open when I go there. The wind picks up between the tall buildings and makes the wooden shutters rattle. It's the closest reminder of my city, other than the bars before dark. Bars always have the same sticky smell no matter where you are in the world. I expected to run into Judge Miller or the clerk, Chrissy Smalls, or somebody filing for their liquor license. Oh my God, Reed Morris. But what I see instead is Reed Morris. You stop right there, Reed! I know I gave him a voice way early on during that scene, but I don't fucking remember. Oh God fucking damn it! I have some questions for you. I don't have time for your flea-bitten ass today. That's not how this works. Keep your hands where I can see them and don't make a scene. Why? Am I under arrest for the 50th fucking time? I guess it depends. It'll just be like old times. We're used to each other by now. You gonna fill me up like a wow and strip me of my rights again? You're the one who's thinking that, not me. Go ruin somebody else's day, you ugly son of a bitch! Cut the shit. Did you break into Mr. Tippett's apartment last night or not? He looks guilty. There's a whole lot more to it than that. So you're not even trying to lie about it. That fucking truth did something to Huxley. I goddamn know what he did. And what if he didn't, Reed? You just went off and beat his door down like a goddamn lunatic? He started some shit, he got his ass beat, and he took revenge on my friend. And I'm sure as hell not gonna trust your shady ass to lift a finger over it, cause you don't even like me in the first place. I need you to stop talking for a few minutes and start listening. Some kid tried to shoot up my office 2 nights ago using Huxley's pistol. His revolver? He pawned it. Anybody could have bought it. Not a 15-year-old without a job and no parents. Sales records indicate he bought it back. Notebook time. Oh, come on. What the? There's no update. Oh, okay. It was an update to a previous one, so I guess we need to go through old notes when there isn't a new one. We gotta find where the update is. Sales records indicate Huxley repurchased it. According to Huxley, Reed, Huxley's gun was pawned. Okay, interesting. Now he's sweating. That's a hell of a lot of evidence that could implicate the two of you for attempted murder, damaging government property, and endangering the life of 2 officers. Hell, that's more than enough to string you up. We didn't do none of that. I don't think you did either, you dumb asshole. He literally blinked. You see, they did a fucking animation. Look. He blinked. They did blinking animation. I love seeing the development of these things. When I started playing visual novels, it was rare to see sprites change ever. I was here before the aspect ratio changed, for fuck's sake. I love seeing the medium change like this. Oh, I love it. He blinks and looks confused. Breaking and entering is unacceptable, and you will pay for that crime in time. But just talk to me for a bit, and I'll have it so that you won't have to spend the rest of the day in jail. Okay, shoot. Why did he pawn the gun in the first place? He was having money troubles. And why is that? A man with troubles has got a drink. Okay, notebook. Huxley was an alcoholic who needed more money for his drinking habit. I wonder where he was getting the cash. Why did this one get updated? We still got the otter. We got Todd shrugging. Hendrix is usually up to something. Worst thing is, it's probably illegal. Nice. A little too much, maybe? That's rich based on what I hear about you. I can afford my drinks, Reed. What made him live beyond his means? He has problems. Had problems, but I don't think you can handle that yet. Yeah, I know. I saw what his problems did to Marcy. Why, you think she doesn't like it that way too? His greasy fur pins and a slow, cracked smile, and his eyes wrinkle. His moldy cotton smell reminds me of how my father smelled at his wake. It makes me want to puke up bile. But now that I think about it, he was acting different lately. Different how? Longer hours at the bank? Sounded paranoid? Of Mr. Tibbetts? No, Tibbetts just made him laugh. He wasn't scared at all of that mouthy little fairy. Now something's troubling him. Like he's starting to get it. He kept talking about buying back that pistol, like he was gonna need it to defend himself soon. I thought he had, but I thought he hadn't yet. And this was after you both had your quarrel with Mr. Tibbetts? No, this was happening before. So who would have had an eye on the gun? Marcy would have known where he hid it. He was always kept it close to her. Marcy may have... okay, we already had that. Sense records... Okay, so this isn't... None of these got updated. It said it got updated, but I don't see an update here. I would have thought that Marcy may know what happened to the gun, but we already had that one. Which is weird because when that one popped up earlier, there was nothing that really prompted that. So I'm thinking this one just popped up when it shouldn't have, and was supposed to pop up here. So that was probably just a glitch. So they probably need to fix that one in an update in the future. But anyway, if that is what happened, there you go. There you go. Of course he did. So maybe a chat with Marcy would have been a little smarter than tearing down Mr. Tibbetts' apartment then, huh? May I go now? Sure, but I don't want to see you 100 yards within that stoat, or we're gonna have ourselves a more punctual problem. I don't give a damn if he didn't take the gun. What? But if Marcy says that he did take it, I'll kill him. To ask somebody to shoot at him? Maybe. Brilliant. That would make a whole lot of sense. I'll find out soon enough anyway. He turns away and walks stiffly into the alley. Don't think I won't come looking for you later when it's time to pay repair costs for that apartment. He flips me the bird. What a living waste of space if I ever saw one. At least I know to visit later. Marcy Green might be the key to all this after all, even if her husband played no part in trying to kill somebody. Maybe Huxley thinks he was acting paranoid when he bought back the gun, but considering his current state, it sounds like he was right to be afraid. But who's strong enough to rip a head clean off a body? That's just another question for later. That's one of them. Also, why was it frozen and where was it? Why did you wait to ask Todd that? Oh my god. Oh, that's Town Hall. Okay. Town Hall is predictably empty on a Monday. Most town meetings are on Saturdays, but that's also when people tend to pick up their licenses. Chrissy isn't at reception right now, but I've been through these halls so much that I won't need to wait for her. Well, goodness gracious, if it isn't my favorite public servant. So that's why Fran's called today. Shaking the mayor down for favors again? Well, what else is a mayor good for anyway? He's very grateful to have more things to do. Besides, bearing fangs is more your line of work, is it not? Only when I have to. Of course, of course. You've had ample time to practice burying your guilt. I'm not talking to you because I want to make merry and exchange quips. I know something that could help you, and I'm willing to trade information. Well, why didn't you say so? And here I thought you were talking to me to pout about the ex-wife. Oh, we'll be having a talk about that too. Then why not move this conversation to the city library? It's the perfect place for sharing information for men with noble character. I still have to talk to the mayor. James rolled his eyes. He's always available. And so are you. Now there's a private fantasy. Since you have such a great sense of humor, I'll make sure to dally at the library so that you can catch me there. Feel free to speak with the mayor first if you insist. Until then, Sheriff. I could follow up on James's offer, but then again, I'm already here. Oh, come on! Does it really matter? At this point, we don't need to mollify the mayor at all, but James is the one who we could get more out of if we mollify, but at the same time, do we really want him to feel like he has power over us? We're more likely to actually... The plot is James at the moment. And unless we lose out talking to the mayor as a result of it, then I'd rather talk to James right now. So I think I'm going to talk to James. But as always, if this is the wrong choice, let me know in the comments. And I'll come back and redo it if it is the wrong fucking choice. James. Information shared among noble souls. And here I thought we were a couple of bastards. At least I can understand that. Pitiful. The library's big, but it's pretty underutilized. 'Cause, well, let's face it, not a whole lot of people here like to read. God, the books with the chains. Such a sad sight. Which I don't entirely get, considering how little there is to do. Doesn't take me long to find him. He's reading a newer book by the looks of it. Dubliners by James Joyce. His bodyguards were sitting in a corner flipping through magazines. Let's keep this quick. Don't act so suburban, Mr. Adler. There's a treasure trove of knowledge all around you. Enjoy yourself. Not interested. You really did bring Hetty here. Why? My, you're so accusatory. That's because I'm accusing you of something. Yeah. You're wrong too, you know. He flipped a page to the beginning of another short story. Araby. She's the one who reached out to me, not the other way around. I only did for her what I did for you. She just needed some money to stay on her feet to orient herself in someplace new. How generous of you. I am generous. When it's inconvenient for me, sure. Why'd you tell her where I live? Now that I can't talk about. Did your generosity suddenly run dry? No, I simply didn't know. Horseshit. Why would I need to lie? I genuinely don't know, and that's going to put you in a most amusing little tizzy. But how about granting me some of your generosity now? Share. I guess you'll have to ask yourself why somebody would try to assassinate one of your business associates. He lifted an eyebrow. Which? Little fella who goes by the name of Clifford Tibbets. He hummed. Well, that's no good at all. He's such a card, and much more fun than you. What kind of cat would put their hands on such a delightful boy? I'll have to keep a much closer eye on him from now on. I can help you with that. Your stalwart sense of justice really is invigorating. I always knew deep down that you liked me. It takes a lot of willpower not to rip that book out of his hands and beat him with it. So help me understand. Well, let's see. As is typical of your older workhorses, too many of them tend to keep very old-fashioned ideas. They might not approve of a foreigner in a higher-ranking consultation position. Particularly the men closest to my important business partner, Mr. Briggs. And do you have the names of these men? Not really. There's simply too many, and they're all very closed-minded. But it shouldn't be too complicated to pick them out of a crowd. They tend to smell like raw earth, after all. He snaps the book shut. If it wasn't one of them, then I'm out of ideas. Then again, that one does have a bleeding heart. I wouldn't be surprised if he spills his gut out to some savage, and then they took it the wrong way. You stop speaking. Now. Oh, don't be so sensitive, Adler. I'm not a monster, and I don't begrudge you for the primal blood on your mother's side. In fact, I think you're the best of both worlds, though raw and though refined. I see a pebble on the table. I pick it up and flick it at his cheek. What the fuck? Am I bleeding? Oh, damn. He is. Hope it stings, you son of a bitch. His guards rush over and he puts his hand up to make them stop. He smiles real big at me. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. He waves at me with his bloody hand. Until next time. Always an affable time. It doesn't take too long for James and his men to clear out of the library. I never cared much for Joyce. Who's Joyce? I don't know, but Notebook. I made James bleed was funny. They added a Notebook feature. And they got little caricature pictures. And this one's for the James, and they also have like little pictures here. And this one's very detailed pictures, Sam. This is William drawing. And this is like Todd shrugging. They got a little pie and a gun, but there's William and there's Cliff.
The most detailed ones are Sam and a gun.
Yeah. It's very...
No head!
No head with the bone and the Family Guy-esque pose. It's so fucking funny. And there's like a little whistle tune in the background where he's looking at the... It's so fucking funny.
It's so fucking cute.
I know, right? So cute! I hear somebody else stir behind the library stacks. Is it, Flynn's relative? Who's there? Coming out and show yourself. It is! It's Flynn's relative. It's only me. I don't remember his voice, and... Ah, damn it, I gotta keep up the continuity. It's only me. Hear a thin, cheery voice. It's only me. Something like that. Who the hell's me? The librarian. Oh. Well, that makes sense. Now I feel silly. My apologies. I didn't think I'd hear anyone. I didn't think I'd hear anybody there. Portamore. But don't bother apologizing. After all, I did happen to hear a good chunk of your conversation. Fair game in a public library. We're supposed to be quiet in them after all. I'm afraid I must insist. You are looking for reliable information, aren't you? He's playing that game with us, huh? Okay. Well, what would you know? I know that you collect information from the prostitutes at the hip in exchange for a loose adherence to the law. But other than that, not much about you, I'm afraid. All right, who the hell are you? I already told you. I'm just a librarian. You trade information with the co-worker of CGCS, but not with me. Now that feels unfair. At least allow me to give you something free as a token of goodwill. This is a trap we've seen before. I hear that every time I go somewhere twice. All right then. What do you got? James has a voracious sexual appetite. You'll find that he sleeps with many of the workers at the hip to satisfy his curiosities. One of them is loyal to him now, and will tell you nothing useful. They will be an active hindrance to you. Would you like to know their name? Sure, why not? Now that will cost you something. Oh, does it now? You can pay me money, or you can pay me in information. How much? $50. I think I see. Is the price too high? Not necessarily. But I understand what diminishing returns are. My secrets are more valuable when I'm the source. And that will go farther than putting it up in your information market. Well done. Just don't compete with me, or you might regret it. I assure you, we're in different businesses. Notebook! Oh, hey, new, it's same picture, but different thing. Apparently, at least one person who works at the hip is leaking information to James. Well, I would fucking hate for it to be Cynthia, but we already know that she's been stealing from William. We have no reason to believe it'd be Sam. And really, the only other people of note would be, the head lady, the barkeep, the lady or the barkeep. I don't think it'd be the head lady, but the barkeep was acting suspicious as hell. But I don't believe that he was sleeping with James. Very interesting.
He flashed me a smile and walked away. So there are people who'd have a motive to hurt Mr. Tibbets.
And now let's go talk to the mayor.
Let's get this over with, then.
Ooh, big desk. Big desk.
I step into Testerman's office. The big rat is pecking away at his typewriter, but he stands up when he sees me.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Well, it's about time, Adler. There were some road bumps on the way, but I'm here.
Hendricks is threatening to cut all sorts of donation money if we don't set this right fast.
The mayor of fucking Echo. What a fucking prick.
I start laughing.
What in the Lord's name is funny about that?
Let's start with the essentials. The mining operation continues to place blame on CGCS management for the death of this particular miner. Tension is calm on the surface, but resentment brews below. Deputy Bronson found another dead body last night. His expression changes from one of anxiety to a look of sheer panic.
Why was there a question mark there?
Another miner?
No, this one's a banker. I see relief wash over him.
He doesn't give a shit about bankers.
So this wasn't related to the other case, then?
A man is still dead, Mr. Testerman. He starts mumbling to himself.
Well, sometimes it can't be helped.
Seriously! What a jackass!
Men take all sorts of risks to make it out here, and not everyone can. There are fights and freak accidents and hasty decisions accompanying immoral acts.
His head was ripped off.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, so probably an animal.
Could be.
Well, now I feel a lot better.
Are you sure that you should? I didn't say that this was an animal for certain.
Do any of your discoveries call for a state of emergency evacuation?
I wouldn't say so, unless this death isn't an isolated incident. I have reasonable suspicion to think that it could be linked to a targeted attack on one of the CGCS employees.
But you just have suspicions. Not proof. That's what you said, right?
That would be right.
But odds are, I think it would be best not to sensationalize a tragedy.
He looks into my eyes as if he's looking for approval for what he's about to say.
Wouldn't it?
I think that it should always be a priority. What I'm telling you is that whatever it is, it probably ain't over, and it probably ain't isolated from CGCS affairs. So you might want to prepare a statement ahead of time if things go to hell in a handbasket, and you don't want to be caught with your britches down.
I think I would prefer to be optimistic about the future, Mr. Adler. Just keep me informed about the present, please.
Okay, then. There are presently some signs of very clear scandals at the company that will make their way to the surface soon.
That company is all town's lifeblood, Adler!
Well, that's fine, but ignoring it won't make it all go away.
But isn't it your job to prevent a state of panic?
I'm saying that if all these problems go back to CGCS management, then the panic is just going to keep coming back like clockwork.
But you still need proof before you can bandy about these claims.
I swear to God, this man is as thick as pig shit. I didn't make claims. I shared suspicions. Let me make something very clear to you, Franz Testerman. I don't work for you. But if you ask me for help and aren't willing to take it, there's not much I can do for you. I do think this could lead to a public crisis. So I think you should prepare for that.
And I'll tell you something, Mr. Adler! I will say it once, I will say it 100 times over. I must see the evidence before I am swayed to act. Why is that so hard for you to accept?
The more I look into this man's eyes, the more I know he has no interest in evidence. He'll see what he wants to see when he needs it to be true. Do you already have a contingency plan in place for evacuating a population of over 6,000 then?
There's precedents in place if such a need arrives.
And you've practiced them?
Once again, I will not disrupt daily routines on the basis of an assertion.
Alright, this is going nowhere. Then let's conclude this meeting. I turn around and put my hands on the knob.
Wait!
Yes?
Do you really think things are that bad?
Yes! He wipes his brow with his kerchief.
I could review the evacuation plans, but quietly, and without getting the public involved. But just as a backup plan, I still have no intention of officiating an evacuation.
That's what I've been saying, Testerman. That's better than nothing. I have to go now.
You'll keep me updated then.
I'll call if it's important. What a headache. I think I've learned all that I could. That's just about enough of this place for now. Time to go.